Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai with the Carlist mod. We're going to take a look at the latest version that I've been given by the mod creator. So what we have right here in front of us is a tier 5 French army. Now, for those who haven't been paying attention, or simply this is the first time they see the mod or so on, I should explain a little bit. So, this mod is from the same creator of Total Fall of the Samurai, which is a mod that's set in the 1800s, where you get the big colonial powers, and you're tasked with colonizing Japan. So it's set around a mod where you play as Russia, the US, Prussia, Great Britain, France, and so on, and you attack and colonize Japan. Now he's expanding his universe. I believe the idea is to kind of create a sort of empire, but for the Victorian era, in which you will be able to jump from different areas around the world. And so he's jumped away from Japan for now and gone to Europe, and he's starting down in the corner with Spain and the Carlist Wars, which were a number of Spanish civil wars during the 1800s, the Victorian period. And so, because Spain is bordering France, the French army is available for the Carlist War mod, and they have now been given a tier 5 army. Now, to explain the tiers, basically he's divided, more or less, the 1800s into 5 tiers, where first tier is just like post-Napoleonic, with the Bourbon Restoration Army, in case for the French, and then sort of, I think maybe second, or probably more like third, is Crimean War, and then, fourth, fifth, and so on. And then for the end here, we've get the fifth army, which is the Franco-Prussian War. So that's what we're looking at right now, a Franco-Prussian War army. Unfortunately, there's no other nation has the tier 5 army, so we're going to be fighting a tier 1 army. So it's going to be very lopsided in terms of firepower, as it were. Really what it is, it's the reload rate that is increased. Also the fact that I'm gonna bring a very early version of the machine gun, the mitrailleuse, or however you want to pronounce it. With that said, let's go ahead and get into actual fighting. We're gonna go ahead and look at the troops as I advance my army. As you can see, we've got a sizable army here. Also note the map, which might be familiar to anyone who's played Napoleon Total War. This is basically, almost identical, or as identical as you can get, to a map that is available in Napoleon Total War. I think the hill is a little bit steeper in Napoleon Total War, but otherwise, I mean, you definitely recognize it if you've played Napoleon Total War multiplayer. With that said, let's go ahead and advance our army. We're playing against a Spanish tier 1 army. These are the Kingdom of Spain. And then there's a rebel faction as well for the Spanish. I think I might have messed up here and not set the Spanish to be the attacking side, which means they're just going to hold their position. So it's going to take a while until we actually get to see battle here. They've deployed the guns ready to fire at us. This is not an optimal situation, but we're just going to go ahead with it. As always, at the end of the video, there's going to be more close-ups. I thought I'd just quickly go ahead and show you different units here. So, as it's very ambitious, it's not only ambitious in terms of scale in trying to create sort of an empire, but at even larger scale, because now the regions that we're talking about, you know, as you jump in between the regions, you know, if just Spain is one of those regions you jump around from, you can imagine how big everything is going to be. And one of the added things to the scale of things is that all units have a winter and a summer dress. So we're gonna go ahead and quickly take a look at that. So we got Algerian tirailleurs and light infantry, and we also got engineers moving here in the front. So here we've got the Algerians in the winter dress. So we can see they've got an overcoat on, or a bigger coat on. And then we're gonna head over to the Algerians right over here, and here we can see them in the summer wear, which is more fitting for the fact that we are marching around in the desert. And the same with the engineers. I think we started off seeing the engineers in summer dress, and here's the engineers in winter dress, in coat. Same here, we got with winter dress for normal infantry, with summer dress over on this side. And then we've got also quite a bit of infantry and stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you. So it's messed up. The mitrailleuse, or the machine gun, is kind of stuck in among the troops. We can kind of see it there. So it's an very interesting design, in where you have a block where you have all the bullets set in like a honeycomb formation, and then you can lift and remove them, you know, put in a new block and then, you know, I think you crank it. I've seen it on YouTube. There's a video on YouTube where they fire one of those. It's kind of interesting. For the Franco-Prussian War, famously, kind of, they misused this rather interesting weapon, as it would be better supporting the infantry, but as it was kind of at the time, they figured it was an artillery piece, they set it with the artillery and wasn't really useful with them, where it would have been better use put with the infantry. We can see quite a bit of cavalry as well. So here we got the hussars in winter dress, and then the hussars in summer dress. And we also have, even the cannons have winter and summer dress. So these are the summer dress artillery crews. On the other side we have the artillery in winter dress. We also have the lancers in the back here with summer and winter dress. Here we can see them right next to each other, with the winter dress next to the summer one. And then here in the back in the center I've got the cuirassier, same there, winter dress for these guys, and summer dress for the cuirassiers here. As it's gonna be a while, since the enemy is not deciding to attack us, they're just gonna sit there. It's gonna be a while until I actually get my army in position ready to fight them. And you can already see that we are suffering some fatigue from marching in the desert. We've made it not even halfway through the map, and my troops are already tired, actually, from walking in the desert. So not a great start. Anyways, I'll come back to you guys when the bullets start flying. Our army has now reached the hill. The Spanish have drawn out their lines a little bit, so they're now extending beyond ours. That should be no problem though. I've split the groups into two because, well, we've got the oasis in between ourselves. Given that we hold a water source, I'd imagine that our troops wouldn't be so tired, but obviously that is not how it works. With that said, what I'm going to do is we're going to advance. So this group is going to go around, try and go around here, attack from there. Well, this one is going to go through here and forward there, with the cavalry hopefully securing the flank from any enemy, plus the fact that I've got my battery over there. And then we've got lots of cavalry here that can move forward. We'll see how this goes. Let's start by setting the first group on its way to march to its position down here, and then have its cavalry formation move to the side here. So I tried to let them stay in the position they were for quite a while, hoping that they would, you know, not be as exhausted as they are, but it's, yeah, it didn't really work. And then this group is gonna move to a position like that, with the cavalry moving to a position there. So what I've set it up is that we've got the hussars backed up by cuirassier, and then lances backed up by cuirassier, and then each of the infantry groups that are marching brigades, infantry brigades that are marching forward here, they're backed up by elite troops in the back. Then we've got 3 units of infantry in the front, and then they are covered by light infantry. I think it could be, you know, now when I actually notice, now when I actually take a closer look here, I noticed that the tired units are, of course, the units with the winter uniform on. So they won't go ahead and recover from being exhausted. So the guys in summer uniform, which is mostly in this brigade here, is actually doing a lot better than the guys in winter uniform. So something to take note when you play this mod. I think it's high time for our battery to open fire, as our troops are kind of halfway onto the enemy position. What I want to bombard is the enemy's artillery. It looks like they might be deploying their artillery right now, or if they're just redrawing it, they're just redrawing, repositioning. We can see the same thing is happening on the Spanish side, even though they've just been standing still. The Spanish troops in winter uniforms are getting just as tired as our troops. Right. Let the cannonballs fly. We're gonna see the reload animation here because it's a little bit new. So I'm ordering the bombardment to start. Troops turning the cannons. And there we go. They have fired. So now they're gonna reload the gun, and see there, a box of ammo, and you can actually see the ammo go into the barrel. Also, as you noted, might have noted when he was firing it, he actually got a proper lighting stick to fire the gun. We're gonna see it closer here, and he pushes it down. And that goes for the cannon, and it goes boom. And our cannon shots are landing in among the Spanish troops, causing quite a bit of damage. It might actually work to the... since I have, like, you know, the difference in time period here is more than 50 years, I think. It's like 60 years. It might be well that our troops are not the best in terms of fatigue. We're gonna go ahead and set some spikes, just because, well, we're tired, and if we would come under cavalry attack, we would be crushed quite easily, I think. I'm also gonna set the machine gun kind of on top here, and we're gonna have that kind of as a fallback position. As the enemy's lines are more extended than ours, there's a risk here of us getting overwhelmed. This 2nd Brigade, I'm actually gonna set it to advance up to the same side as the 1st, even though we have enemy cavalry, dragoons, really close. You know, it's such a stupid mistake of me to bring winter uniforms to a summer, within quotations, summer map, but obviously, you know, a desert is what I mean. Gonna go ahead and... ah, shit! I lost one of my mitrailleuse machine guns before we were even able to fire. Setting up to start the machine gun process, as it were. I'm gonna send forwards the light infantry there to start skirmishing with the enemy, and then we're gonna have the infantry move forward, and then we're gonna extend the line rather than having the elites as reserves. I'm gonna put them on the flank so we actually get a proper line going, and then just in case the enemy wants to get closer to us. It's a risk here. I'm almost a little bit too close, right, to the enemy. So we're gonna have the cavalry move back a little bit. Okay, the dragoons have opened fire upon us. Not really done too well. I'm just gonna halt just this part of the brigade, and we're gonna have this infantry open fire on the dragoons. So the advantage here, of course, is that we've got breech loaders compared to the Spanish cavalry, which still has muzzle loaders, flintlock muzzle loaders. So just the rate of fire is gonna absolutely destroy them compared to ours. We should have the light infantry hold here. Looks like the Spanish troops are all now actually pushed into the attack. I barely can see anything. I'm gonna go ahead and take personal control of this mitrailleuse machine gun, and we can kind of see that we've got Spanish troops moving out there. Open fire! You can even see the little crank going. I don't know if I'm hitting anyone. I'm gonna set it to fire at will right now. Look at the smoke, you can barely see anything. Spanish troops looks to be trying to charge our men. Their cavalry breaks on our cavalry. I'm gonna order a counter assault. They actually broke the Aragonese lancers, broke my cavalry. Luckily I've got cuirassiers to be sent in to take out the lancers. We also have another unit that's not too happy with its situation. It's another mitrailleuse machine gun. And then on this side, the lancers and the cuirassiers will be thrown in against the enemy. We've got a light infantry unit embroiled with one of the dragoon units. You can see these guys have massive axes as they prepare to fight. The lancers go at full tilt as they ram in to the Tortosa Grenadiers. Is that how they is pronounced? Oh, we've got a bayonet fight here in between the Legionnaires and the guards of the Spanish. Looks as though both my cavalry attacks actually failed. Can I form square? I cannot. We'll turn the line over here. Can you focus in here? Maybe with shrapnel. Oh, shrapnel shot doesn't go that far. Just fire on the enemy unit over there then. Oh, the mitrailleurs firing all they've got towards the enemy. I guess the only thing here is I don't think the mitrailleurs. Let's see when they reload it. Oh, they weren't reloading. I thought they were gonna reload it. I was thinking the only thing that would be different here to the historical version would be that they have more ammo than the sort of the real historical counterpart. I'm gonna move my troops in, and maybe we're gonna go do some melee charges over here. Our troops winning this fight over here. Our machine gun, I'm not entirely sure. I guess it's fire overhead, destroying the enemy. And we got loads of fire going on here. I think what I would try and do is at some point actually find a human player to fight or use this mod and fight against. That would be more interesting than just playing the AI, because obviously the AI is not that clever. Are they still set to firing shrapnel, perhaps? I'm gonna push this into them. I would want to still use tier 5, but at the same time, as it would be kind of strange to have two French units, French armies fighting against each other. This fight went pretty fast, given that most of the time actually spent in this battle was us our units just walking up to the enemy, ordering bayonet charge along the line, just pouring troops into that area. I love the thing about Shogun that you can take personal control over the cannons and stuff, and you can actually lead them yourselves and fire, especially with machine guns. Imagine the possibility of doing a World War I mod in Shogun, and you personally being able to take charge of like a machine gun on sort of a trench-like map. That would be quite awesome. And also because Shogun has the ability where you can kind of set the troops behind walls and stuff, so there's kind of cool possibilities there for maps in how you set that up. I guess it could work. You can set troops behind walls in Napoleon as well, so I guess that could work in some way for custom maps as well. Well, there we have it. Even though we were dressed for the winters of Russia, we managed to beat a Spanish army that was, you know, we had something like 60 years technological advantage against. But there we have it, the tier 5 French army. Oh, they do the banzai. They do the banzai, yeah, it is the banzai, isn't it? Anyways, with that said, I think these guys want to get out of their winter clothes and end this battle. So let's go ahead and take a look at the statistics of this battle. Here we have the result of the battle. We deployed similar armies with about 6,000 men, as Shogun has the ability to field 40 unit armies. You could be looking at, I mean, if you'd only field the big, 400 men units. I'm not gonna calculate that in my head, but we, you know, I think I had 15 units or something like that, so you can definitely add quite a lot, and with a lot of that being cannons and cavalry, there could be tons of soldiers fielded on the maps. As we can see, I lost 1,000 men, 1,200, while the enemy lost 4,500. So a very big part of their army. In terms of kills, we can see that the Algerian tirailleurs, in winter dress, no less, actually killed 500 enemies, while only losing 3 men. And then we have the Legionnaires, losing 63, killing 447. So that's mass casualties being inflicted there. I'm interested. Oh, here we go. The first mitrailleuse, the summer dress. They lost 10 men and killed 155. And the other one killed 146. Not that impressive as I thought, but then again, they weren't like optimally deployed. Neither were the 12-pounder cannons, not doing much at all. Cavalry doing really poor as well. I don't think there's any cavalry unit up top at all that really did anything. The hussars here were the ones who killed the most, and they also lost the most. And that goes for all my cavalry unit, in fact. And then for the enemy, kind of nice that you can actually see theirs as well. The Aragonese Lancers, the ones that charged us over on our right side and actually saw off all my cavalry and even went for an infantry unit, did really well there with 300 kills. Followed by the guards, probably the ones that got stuck in with the legionnaires fighting melee there, over there, being able to kill quite a lot. But otherwise the Spanish force didn't do very well. The cannons barely killed anything. Some of them weren't even able to be deployed, and we've got some infantry units here, a guard unit and a grenadier unit, who lost almost their entire units without making a single kill. So yeah, the AI has something to, you know, is lacking, at least on this map. I think it would have gone better if I'd set them to be the attacking sides. They were attacking from the start and we would have met somewhere in the middle, and that would have been more interesting. And also the fact that I should have remembered that, you know, it's maybe not the best idea to bring a winter coat when you're going to fight in, I'm guessing this was like Algeria, given the unless there's a big desert in Spain that I don't know about, but I'm guessing we're in Algeria. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully we'll see more improvements here. I would love to see a proper tier 5 army for the French one to fight against. Specifically the Prussians, that would be interesting to get, since it is for the Franco-Prussian War. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.
J'aurais dû rester sur le navire, sans moi m'actouiller. Garde à vous! Une bataille, c'est savoir se... En nom de cet homme, un uniforme excellent. Aussi mauvais que les pinces en fait. Garde à vous! Quelques...
Devons-nous nous préparer, Seigneur?
Il a été bercé trop près du mur ou quoi?
Chut, c'est un officier. Devons-nous nous préparer?
Et vous regretterez ces moments de repos.
Tu connais la dernière, entre leur général et un poulpe? Les étrangers. On leur peut d'être dans...
Atención, ser el mejor no es optativo. Atención, en una batalla hay que esperar tanto como luchar. Atentos, unas cuantas no es optativo. Charles.